Hey guys, okay, before getting into the actual meat of the chapter, I have to talk about that cover page, because Mashima, you glorious bastard, like, that cover page is just so beautiful, and now it is simultaneously the most cursed thing I've ever seen in my life, yet truly shows how much Mashima is a cultured man of the people. Like, just ivory bound and collared in a black skin tight dominatrix outfit against the BDSM dungeon backdrop. That is just ivory, like, purely encapsulated in a single image. That whole cover is just fan service perfection, and I absolutely love it. Like, oh my god, Mashima, what did you do? But okay, getting into the actual confrontation between the Eden Zero crew and Feather and her forces, I definitely have a lot to say about this. First off, I do actually really like the whole concept Mashima does touch on through Feather's powers in this chapter, that even if she can predict their movements and actions, it doesn't necessarily mean that she can instantly overcome any sort of power difference. Like that's the one thing. Like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how powerful her perception is. If her soldiers and she herself aren't powerful enough in order to match up against Shiki, then it isn't going to matter all that much. Now, with that said, we also get introduced to a new concept, Ether Connect, which right out of the gate, I don't, it wasn't really said in this chapter, I think, but I really want to know if this is something that is specific to God's Eye, or if it's a more generalized power one can obtain with the training of one's ether. Because honestly, if Sheik was able to use something like that, it would go a long way towards coordinating things better when the Eden Zero, when the crew are out in the thick of battle, and just like generally being able to kind of like it would give Shiki a better opportunity in order to coordinate everyone's actions better, and not just like and not just like have faith in everyone to kind of like have the power to fight against an opponent, like actually like kind of coordinate, communicate with everyone. I feel that's kind of something that would be necessary, and just in order to prevent a lot of like worst case scenarios from happening. Now, if anything, if anything though, knowing this though, I do have a lot of mixed feelings on how this confrontation with Feather played out, because largely it does. Because largely, honestly, when it came to like the majority of the crew just fighting the fodder characters, I really did like that part and it did a good job at showcasing just how far everyone has come and just how much stronger they are as well. The revelation of where Rebecca's at in terms of power being one of the things we definitely need to talk about. But as far as how the confrontation between Feather and Shiki played out, that's the one I'm struggling with the most, because what he did, not like with not wanting to outright engage in a fight with Feather, it's one of those things where it does show character growth and is in line with who Shiki is as a character at this point. However, I do have to admit as well that for as much as I despise using this word, it does feel like Mashima underpowered Feather a bit in order to get this point across. Just from seeing the ease at which Shiki was able to pin her down with his power, really skirted believability for me. It was an outcome that was probably going to happen regardless regardless, as this chapter definitely has set her up as a recurring antagonist in the Chaotic Cosmos for a while. But let's just say she didn't, because of what happened in this chapter, she didn't make a good first impression, and it would have helped to see Feather at least put up a little bit more of a fight before Shiki like actually ended up like using his power like to pin her down, because now that we didn't even get to see her what she's capable of in a fight, Mashima's going to have to do extra in order to prove that Feather is a worthy antagonist that can go toe to toe and match Shiki at every angle. Like, it's one of those things where I get the intent, but I think it would have helped if the fight between the two of them was just we actually got to see a fight. I think is honestly what it is. Moving on from that, though, we gotta talk about the reveal that Rebecca obtained overdrive over the time skip, which is honestly not all that surprising, but now that her overdrive is in play, the big thing we need to know now is what are the capabilities of her power when in this form, because the main things we know about Rebecca's Cat Leaper is that there are certain limitations when used normally, and she can't change events that are set in this predetermined path, like with Witch's Death. But that with her power, the idea of like accessing like different universes in itself is also a thing that's there as well. But the thing is that's pretty much all we know about when she's normally like that, supposedly. But with overdrive, it is a much more powerful version of the base ether gear ability. So the question I have currently, and it's something I'm positive we will explore as we move forward, is just to what degree Rebecca is capable of using this power. What degree Rebecca is capable of using this power, and what like power she has in overdrive. Because while I don't think Mashima is going to throw at every limitation with Rebecca's power, between what we've learned in the past couple chapters with the nature of her abilities and the existence of like the multiverse and all that, there are avenues in which Rebecca's overdrive could possibly subvert some of these pre-existing rules with Cat Leaper. Not in the sense of reversing what's already happened, I hope, but more preventing like future predetermined events. Like I think that's the biggest thing I took away from just the reveal of like Rebecca's overdrive, is that there is a possibility that in order that now that she does have overdrive, she could potentially like subvert predetermined events, as that seems to be one of the big thing that's been kind of pushed forward, is that like time, all that, it doesn't necessarily matter anymore. And also, yeah, Happy's packing heavy lead in this chapter, like like seriously, when Happy transformed and that gun morphed out of his back, that was the most epically hilarious thing I've ever seen, and just again further proves to me that this is the superior version of the Happy character. Like, again, no offense to Happy and Fairy Tail, but this one version of the character is just more entertaining and just way more badass. Like, seriously, again, I need to reemphasize it. A gun like morphed out of his back. Like Happy's packing heavy lead in this shit, and I love it. Like. That was just hilarious to me. With all being said, though, we get a genuinely great moment with Connor and Noah in this chapter, where that whole conversation between the two of them, I feel, epitomizes in my mind why Eden Zero works as well as it does. The crew are basically a found family. They had nowhere else to turn as individuals, and they ultimately found those bonds and formed connections in people they aren't related to, but are just as meaningful, if not more so, than if they were related by blood. And I hate to bring this up again, but I think it is a thing that makes Eden Zero the more refined version of Fairy Tail, because it is those bonds that give them the motivation to fight, but it's how they actually work together and play off each other's individual strengths and weaknesses that allows them to succeed to begin with. And yeah, the chapter ends with Connor declaring he'll get the Eden Zero free of Feather's blockade, which I'm all in for, because just after hearing Noah's side of things, you can tell he's fully committed to helping this ragtag group of kids who just he now sees that needs like a father figure or something like that. And honestly, it does feel like Mashima is setting Connor up to be the official helmsman of the ship, so to speak, at this point, which is a nice inversion to the fact that the last we saw Connor, he was basically Ziggy's captain, he was Ziggy's helmsman, which, if this Connor is anything like the other one, we should expect some seriously epic flying maneuvers next chapter. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, Like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video right, guys. Dark Knight Divinity, signing off. Later, everyone.